Hi, my name is Brett Linkletter, CEO and founder of Misfit Media, the best damn restaurant marketing agency on the planet. Here at Misfit, we help restaurant owners grow and scale their business through strategic online marketing practices. Right now, you're listening to our podcast, Restaurant Misfits, where we'll discuss all things related to restaurant marketing, management, and everything else in between growing a restaurant business. This podcast is also brought to you in collaboration with Total Food Service. For over 30 years, Total Food Service has provided the restaurant and food service industry with exclusive interviews to the latest news on products, trends, associations, and events. You can sign up for a free monthly subscription by visiting totalfood.com today. And from all the misfits over here, we hope you enjoy the show. Cheers. In this episode, I interview Melanie Landano, the founder of Mel's Butcher Box. Mel's Butcher Box is a food truck, and a food truck that actually was started at the midst of this pandemic. During the pandemic, Melanie has been in the food space and hospitality space, and you could call it entertainment space as well, for her whole life. And she's had this vision of something she's wanted to do, and she's really tackled it and gone after it during a very difficult time. On this interview, we talk about all kinds of things, from her experience working at Disney and what that brought for her today, from her experience working for some really famous meat purveyors, and her experience bringing joy to her customer base and bringing joy and excitement and fun to the employees that she works with. She's got such an interesting, amazing, and really inspiring story. I'm really excited for you to hear. And so, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Melanie, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How about you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. First interview of the new year. Super excited. Melanie, for everyone listening, can you just give us a quick little background on yourself and who you are?
So everybody asks me for a background about myself, and sometimes I don't know where to start. So I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, single mom, one of 3 kids. Hustled ever since I was little, started working from 11 years old at a small amusement park that was right up the block from me. So it was kind of like my summer camp, right? We used to go there every single day, and my sister got a job working in the dunk tank, and I always wanted to work there. And they gave me a job as a clown. So I walk around the amusement park dressed as a clown and putting stickers on the guests that went there. Always wanted to work food and beverage while I was there. There was something about the excitement of the lines and cleaning the grill and the fresh hot dog. It was just really cool and different. I was a ride operator as well. Wound up working there for probably like 15 to 20 years. It was my life. It was my, like I said, my summer camp, a lot of great memories, meeting a lot of people. And I was always with my family because I all worked there as well.
Wow.
So that was like when I was younger, I always wanted to do something bigger and something different. And I was always the one in my family that wanted to get away, branch out, go to college, but not go away to college, right? Because I felt like there was so much opportunity where I lived. There was no need for me to go experience college life when I had a great job, great friends, great family. My mother would never let me anywhere. We're old school Italian.
Got it.
I went to school I started school as a business management major, and I suck at math. The worst. I hate math. I hate accounting. I hate all that. And my friend Robin was like, Mel, you need to major in corporate communication. Just change it around a little. You could do amazing public speaking, marketing, business 100 level classes. And I looked into it, and it was the best thing I ever did. Went to school for 4 years on that major, corporate communications. And I tell people now it was one of the best decisions for my career personally and professionally, because you use every single thing in that major. I still use it to this day. And
Amazing.
I use all the stuff I've learned when I was younger, but it was the best major.
100%.
And I really took advantage of it. I got an internship with NBC, The Today Show. I was hanging out with Matt Lauer back in the day, Katie Couric. I always wanted to go to Italy, and I studied abroad in Italy. Because of my major, I got a full scholarship for that. So I spent a year in Rome. And then my passion was to work at Walt Disney World. And somehow between my job when I was 11 and 15 years later, I wound up where I wanted to be at Disney. And I was there for 3 years. There's just so much. And at the same time, I was always working. I was always like thriving and running and looking for the next best thing.
Got it.
And then after Disney, I came back to New York. I was living in Orlando, a special event manager there. Best job ever. I mean, it's the happiest place on earth. And I drank the juice. I got, the Walt. I got hypnotized and brainwashed, but it was amazing. Especially working special events, you learn so much.
Got it. What was your job exactly at Disney World?
At Disney, I started out at a special program. It was called the Fellowship Ambassador Program, and it was a program that when Walt designed these parks, he wanted living, learning, and working together, all these different nations. Yeah. So they designed this program called the Fellowship Program. I interviewed for a regular position. They said, with all your experience at you're 24, you can't come in as a regular cast member. We're going to put you in this special program. And I went in as one of 8 Americans to host 80 international people from all over the world. Wow. And I was kind of in charge of them. So I'd live with them, work with them. I was in the Disney parks with them. They had to learn about the American culture. I had to learn about all these 80 internationals, about their cultures. I lived with a Norwegian and a Japanese girl. And in our building, we had people from Zimbabwe, Comoros Islands, Canada, France, Germany, Morocco. It was amazing. Wow. And I was there for 3 years. In the first 3 months, they nominated me for a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's called a Partner in Excellence. And people who work for the company after 25 years get it. And I got it the first 12 weeks I was there. I'm sorry, 3 months I was there. Amazing.
That is incredible.
And I got Disney?
I love Disney in general. I think that's awesome.
It's just amazing. But working as special event manager and in the special events program at Disney is like, where else can you see fireworks 3 times a week, 7 days a week?
Legitimately.
And I did the really great events, met a lot of people, had a lot of opportunity. I was there for the millennial celebration in the year 2000. And there are no words that could explain what I learned and what I did there.
Absolutely. And so then after, and so you said that at a young age, you were always interested in like entertainment in the food and beverage space. Mm-hmm. Obviously you continued onwards with that, working at Disney. And then what came after Disney? Was that the Pat LaFrieda? Is that what it was?
After Disney, I needed a job quickly. I had already finished college. I was done. I had all this experience. I was like, what am I doing with all this? And I was young. I was 27. And my resume at this point was like, I had to like, stop messing around, Mel. You need like a job, right? Settle down, which I never did. And I got a job at Bally Total Fitness Corporation, the big health club chain. And because of my experience, they hired me as a customer service director. Because they had gone on the stock exchange, they need somebody with my experience to go and change the culture of the clubs. And I was really fat, actually. I was heavier when I worked there. I was, and it leads up to the story about Bally Total Fitness. Yep. They hired me because of my experience. I was always an athlete, didn't consider myself heavy, but I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now when I started working there. And I just embraced the culture and started losing weight and working out. And at the same time, I was building this brand for Bally as a customer service director. I had 5 clubs. By the end of my career, I had 46 clubs, and I was a marketing director. And I lost, and talking about entertainment, I lost all the weight while I was working at Bally, and they featured me in all their Bally Total Fitness commercials. I was a spokesperson for them. I did a lot of press, a lot of TV, a lot of live in-studio exercise segments. And then I wanted to become a TV host and be the next Food Network star. So there's so much that I wanted to do. And I still do it. Actually, today on my Instagram, I posted a picture of myself and Oprah Winfrey because I went to the Oprah show. After I lost all the weight, she invited me in. And it's so funny. I just posted the picture. And you
were just on Oprah?
I was on her last season. She did a show because she was very into weight loss of people who lost 100 pounds or more.
Wow.
And I wrote into the show, and they called me back and they invited me onto the show, and I went to Chicago and I met Oprah and I got my picture with her. I got my gift. She gave out free bikes that day. It was great. It was really great. And my career at Bally was amazing. And it was another stepping stone that I was able to use everything I had learned since at a young age in every field: marketing, special events, management, customer service. And it just somehow it all comes together in any way. Even when I do a lot of the media stuff I do, I learned a lot of that from Bally. I got a TV, a hosting coach. I did all that stuff because I had time, and it's my passion. So,
Totally. That's amazing. And then, so how did this all lead finally into the food space?
So the food space, Bally Total Fitness went bankrupt, and they got rid of my position. It was very sad because it was very lucrative for me. It was an amazing job. I became a personal trainer full time for a few years. Didn't pay the rent. I just couldn't do it. It was nice to have all that free time off, but I still needed to do what I love to do. I was consulting a little for theme parks, indoor amusement parks, stuff like that, but it still wasn't working. And Pat LaFrida is my very, very dear friend. He worked at Nellie Bly with me at the amusement park when I was 11.
Wow.
And we lost touch. He went to college. He was in the Army. And I saw he had a show called Meat Men on the Food Network. And I'm like, there's my guy. There's Pat. And I said, I have to get in touch with him just to say hi, see how he is. And I saw that his company, his family was always in the meat industry from when we were younger. Yep. He lived in Brooklyn, and he had a little van called Pat LaFrida and Sons. And I was like, wow, he must be able to eat as much meat as he wants, as much steak as he wants every night. He's so lucky. And it grew to this huge company. I saw that he was at Citi Field in the US Open, and we would run into each other, and finally I met up with him. So happy to see him again, because he's just when you meet somebody in your life and they're that person, that's totally what he was to me. Like a friend, brother, everything. And I said, you seem like you may need help, because he's very hands-on. He's like me, Italian, hardworking from when you're younger. That's all we know.
Yep.
And I said, I'm looking for a job. Maybe there's something I could do. And he said, send me your resume. I did. And I remember he's up all night long, 24 hours a day. He called me 2 a.m. He said, you're hired. Start tomorrow. And I started. He said, your first job is the US Open, because he had a location there where he sells his sandwiches. And I went to the US Open and started working. It was crazy, but I had all the experience, and I ran his the Pat LaFrida stand where the food court is at the Open. And then I wound up doing everything for him. We opened a brick and mortar. I started doing a lot of his PR for him. I ran the restaurant, did all his partnerships with the Food Network stars, all the Food and Wine Festival events, food shows, book signings, anything you could think of that his company does outside of his being a meat purveyor, because that's what he does. He's a meat purveyor.
Yep.
And he used me as a senior project director. I was there for 6 years. And he gave the stuff I did for him was stuff I would never forget. I still do it. I still will do it for him, but because of the pandemic, no more US Open. We had 4 locations at the Open. We started with 1. We ran Citi Field with the New York Mets. I oversaw all that, all the media events for him. And then we opened Timeout Market in Brooklyn, in Dumbo, affiliate with the Timeout magazine. We opened 1 location and grew to 4, actually grew to 3 locations in 1 year. And the last location we opened on March 14th, we closed on the 16th, and COVID hit. And that's when it was just, we had to lay off all our staff. We closed the Penzi Food Hall. There was no US Open, no Citi Field, nothing.
Wow.
So I was helping him out in the warehouse a little bit, because he was trying to figure out, he lost all his customers in the city. A lot. It was very hard for him, and he was trying to keep the company afloat. I was helping him out in the warehouse. It was very different from what I was used to, though. Being out there in the spotlight and running all these events and managing 40 people and doing just all the everyday restaurant stuff and just being up there, and all of a sudden gone.
100%.
We had to close all 4 of them in 3 days. It was very hard. And that's how brutal. I started. Yeah. I mean, like everybody, you sit and you wonder, what am I going to do now? Where am I getting money? I can't live on unemployment. Do I go back here? Do I do this? Do I suck it up? And everything goes through your head. What can I do? I could do whatever I want, but I don't have the money to. I'm scared. I don't want to take a risk. And it just, you have to be able to not get in that depression state.
Yeah.
And at one point you feel like it is. And I was like, no, I have to shake it off. And I tried. And I was in my apartment just figuring out, what can I do next? What is everybody doing right now?
Melanie, it seems like, well, you didn't try, you did it.
I did it, and I'm not stopping now.
You did
now
it.
I'm like, oh my God, what? Now it's all coming at me, right? It's either nothing for me or it just all has to happen in like a month, which it did.
It seems like Mel, that the interesting thing about you, which I can definitely see when you speak, you have a lot of passion behind what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Which I'll tell you, I've done a number of these interviews now, and it's always the most successful people. They all have this in common. You can't succeed if you're not passionate about what you do.
Right.
Maybe in some crazy world you can, but you're going to hate yourself for it. Right.
100%.
If you want to win, you got to feel passionate and excited about it, because it takes that much, obviously, as you can tell, drive and motivation to make it happen. The big thing with you, which I think really stands out, is again, your passion, but also it seems like the level of excitement and entertainment you bring to your customers. And also it sounds like your employees that you work with, right?
Love my employees.
100%. So, but talk to us about that. How do you personally, I mean, again, entertainment, hospitality, food, you obviously love this space. What is your special spin on it? And even you studied communications, you said in school. So obviously this is your strong suit. What is it specifically that you do to bring the level of excitement to what you do?
So it started from when I worked at Nellie Bly, when I worked from that very young age, when we spent so much time together, right? Working. And back then, nobody counted hours, however it was. We were there 16 hours a day, 12 hours a day, working together. And it was a fun environment, right? So not only are we working there, we're having fun while we're doing it. And you're spending a lot of time with all these employees, with the guests, and they're having fun. And you just sit back and watch them have fun. And for that, it brought excitement to me, because that's what I like. I like to see people happy. I like to make people happy. And then I make sure I'm happy, right? I kind of put myself back and want them to be okay. Because once they're okay, I'm okay. It makes my job and my life easier, right? I'd rather take it back myself. If I see that I'm not feeling it the way I should, I'm like, let me do something for the staff right now. Let me buy them lunch. Let me get them pizza. Let me go get them coffee. And they look forward to that. Yeah. And from an entertainment standpoint, I was telling my friend the other day, I said, the reason why I love to do what I'm doing is, it's very hard to run a food truck. I mean, it's not just, I haven't worked this hard. I can't even tell you. But the great thing about it is I love the part of the entertainment. They walk, even if it wasn't a food truck, when people come to see me and what I do, you could see the excitement when they first walk in, before they try the food, spend money, and even talk to me. They're elated when they see it. They see me, the environment, because I try to create, like Walt Disney, before you walk into Magic Kingdom, you don't see anything, right? You create that stage, you create the story for them. Yeah. When you go to Magic Kingdom and you get off the monorail, there is nothing that you can't even see the castle, right? Until you keep going closer, closer, closer. You pass the tickets and transportation, you pass the souvenir shops, then you walk on Main Street and there it is. And you haven't even seen anybody yet. You haven't even, you speak to the cast members, but with me, and you see the excitement, and I feed off of that. 100%. All right, buy Mel's Double. And I named the burger after me. It's 2 8-ounce patties. It's amazing. It's delicious. It's the biggest thing ever. Have our homemade mozzarella sticks. I made them on my own, and they like how you say mozzarella. They don't say mozzarella. The little things that can make the guests smile and my friends smile. They want to come, even if they don't want to come eat, they'll just come and see me. Like the 100%. Swag, like the shirts, the hats. You just make such a big deal about it, and it kind of grows on them, and then they like the idea of it, especially now when people don't really have a lot of things to get excited about lately. They couldn't wait for the year to be over. Then the year's starting on the wrong foot. And it's kind of like an escape, Yeah. And I feel like that's how I am. Escape to run to Disney and work in amusement parks and cooking behind and making noise with the spatulas and making my staff laugh. And that's what it's about.
Got it. Are you a fan of PT Barnum by any chance?
Oh my gosh, of course. I have my 35th birthday at Ringling Brothers Circus. Because when I worked at Bally Total Fitness, and this is what I do, I got a partnership with with Feld Entertainment, and
Yep.
the clowns would come and work out at the gym, right? When they're on their
Yep.
off time, they gave me all these tickets, and I had my birthday party there, and Big Apple Circus, like all of that. And my favorite movie is Greatest Showman, of course. It's
Yep.
great. So yes, and I feel like I live like here. I have one dog named Zucchini. She acts like me. So
There's this book I read, not by PT Barnum, but basically about his life. And there's a quote in there. I forget exactly what it is, but something like the last penny people will spend their last penny on is fun.
I
It's
believe
something
that.
fun. And it's something that we try to incorporate in our company quite a bit. And it's something that I love that we're talking about this, because I don't know if I've ever actually had an interview like this where we've talked about so much about this, the entertainment, the fun side of
Right?
things in this detail. But so much of what we do is structured on what's fun, right? What's
Right.
entertaining. And you talk about the whole process from someone walking up to your food truck to seeing your staff, to seeing you, to looking through the menu, to how you describe the items on the menu, then they eat, then the after experience. So many restaurants miss this.
Right.
Like, why do you think that's the case? What is the problem with why don't people understand this? Because everyone wants to have fun. I think deep down, I believe that, right? But why do we miss the ball?
I think people are missing. I'll tell you why, because it starts from the top, right? When Pat would walk into our stores at the US Open, he always knew he would have fun. If not, we would make it fun. There are owners that it's the same thing every day for them. They have the same handwritten sign. They won't change the menu. They won't do a special. They won't give an extra pack of ketchup. They have the same staff for 20 years, standing there at the counter with the name tag. And it's hard, and it's not even about me being at Disney. It's about me I think it's more of a personal thing. Like, you have to have the magic, because if you don't, that's why it doesn't work. If you don't have that sparkle, that spark, don't get me wrong, I have bad days. When I have a bad day, I prep, I clean. My staff knows Mel's cleaning. She's in a bad mood. When I was at the Penzi Food Hall, for whatever reason, I was in a bad mood. I got so upset. I took one aside. I started cutting Brussels sprouts. I was so mad. I slashed my hand. My finger was bleeding. They're like, I told you, Mel. But you know what I still do to this day? We laugh about that. I had a conversation with my staff the other day. I said, do you remember when I slashed my finger with the Brussels sprouts? But that scenario is now something that's funny for us.
Totally.
I kind of switched it around. They knew when I was in a bad mood, and it happens a lot. When an order doesn't come in, or the staff calls out, or they're not cooking the steak the right way, or they call Pat, and Pat was telling me the food's not a quality. And there are a lot of things, but you have to nip it in the bud and then move on and figure out another way to motivate them, motivate yourself, and get those guests happy again. That's what I
100%,
think.
100%. But you talk about, you said it's top down, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, with what's happened in 2020, right? And hopefully we're at the tail end of this now in early 2021. But whatever the case, I think what most business leaders need to recognize and think about is that their employees and staff are looking up to them as a leader to help them get through this, right? And so much of what we do revolves around our career paths, and especially in the restaurant space, obviously there's been a really big downward turn, right? Obviously what COVID did to all of us is crazy, right? I mean, even for our company, our agency, Misfit Media, hey, come late March, early April, we lost half our clientele within 2 weeks. And unfortunately, I think half of that clientele, and I haven't heard from them. I don't know if they're even open again or whatever the case. It's really sad. But whatever's happening, I think as business leaders, we need to recognize that we need to create that culture of something they can look forward to, something that they can be excited about, and something that to motivate them, right? So, and then with this whole downward turn during COVID, that's when you launched Mel's Butcher Box, right? That's when, which is crazy. And so you did this because you wanted to employ people. What was the big motivator behind this? Like, what was the catalyst?
I was sitting, contemplating, thinking, what can I, and starting to get nervous, as everybody did everybody's getting nervous. Your money is running out. Who wants to be on unemployment? My lifestyle changed. I couldn't buy the sneakers I wanted. Like, I love sneakers, and I was like, nope, I have to do something. Started to do some consulting, helping my friends open restaurants. It was okay. And then I was starting to get back in touch with Pat to see if there's anything I could do for him. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go visit the restaurants that need help in my town, start calling the people I know, tell them I'm affiliated with Pat, and try to sell some meat to them. Maybe do some programs with them. Maybe do a meat tasting. Like, I was trying to make work for myself, right?
Yep.
Even if I didn't get paid for it, I knew I would be doing something, and down the road, it would be okay for me because I was paying my bills. It was fine. So I was at a local restaurant, Axia, in Tenafly, and I met the chef. For years, they were asking me to bring LaFrida meat in because every time I walk in, I taste meat. I'm like, you need Pat LaFrida meat, right?
Yeah.
Finally, I get some samples. Pat gives me almost $2,000 worth of samples. I bring it over to the chef. We're talking. We cooked the meat up, which was great. We had a nice meal. And then the chef was talking to two other gentlemen that were at the restaurant. And they're like, Mel, come over here, explain the meat. And here I go, like entertainment. All right, guys, let's have a taste test. Here's the dry age. This is the Pat LaFrida. This is the non-Pat LaFrida. Let's see what you guys think. And I had to make I made a whole like thing over it, which was fun for me. I didn't know who these guys were. They didn't know who I was, but I've been in this town for so long. I was like, whatever. So one of the gentlemen was like, who are you? And why don't you work for me? And I said, told him who I was. I was a little bit cocky, like just because I thought I could. I had a little bit of wine. He told me what he did. His name is Mark Celli. And you probably know who he is. His dad owns a restaurant furniture company. He builds all the amazing restaurants, Vandal, New York City, the Smith & Wollensky's, Starbucks, like anything you could think of, Sugar Factory. And he's from Tenafly. I never saw him, and I'm always around town. He told me what he does, and I said to him, Mark Celli, I know you from someplace. I know you from somewhere. I don't know where. And I wound up realizing I had seen his catalog of what he does, and his work at Vandal was outstanding, amazing. Like if you look at just what it looked like in there, I said, now I know who you are. And my friends were going to use them for a bar to open their bar. He says to me, are you Italian? I can't believe we're on the same page. It's weird to meet someone like you, especially now. This is what I do. And I'm like, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do for me. What can you offer me? And then he told me he has a food truck and he couldn't get it. He had it since June. And this was October. I said, what? I said, you couldn't even book an ice cream truck during the pandemic. You couldn't, the drive-thrus and everything. And he said he was trying to get it off the ground. And I said, let me take a look at it. Let me see what I could do. And I was being cocky again. I said, I could probably open it in a week for you. I have the people, because I have been keeping in touch with all my staff. Hang in there. I'll get you a job. Don't panic. Now their unemployment's running out. They're starting to call me. What can you do? Who do you know? And I started to feel like I need to help them.
Got it.
Before even myself. And I was looking for jobs for them. So I met him on a Friday. So Monday morning, he takes me to the truck. I walk in. I was pleasantly surprised. I said, wow, you couldn't get this. You couldn't launch this. And he had the wrong people. He had a chef who was too chefy, right? Who wanted to make a whole big thing over it. And he had younger kids that probably weren't focused enough, that didn't know how to get to that next level, right?
Got it.
So I see the truck, I see a vision. I call my chef consultant. 3 days later, I do a tasting. They loved it. Basic, simple, what I'm used to. Low food cost, high quality, 100% Pat LaFrida. The next day he said, okay, you're a partner. It's yours. Just like that. We opened the next day at the local high school. I brought my staff in. My sister helped me. It was great, crazy, because we didn't have a bathroom. There's no bathroom on the truck. So it was just a funny things. Like, I really think I called my friend who works for Food Network. I was like, you need to film me, because every day there's so much that goes on. Where do you fill up the water? And I had to learn all of this, right?
Wow.
The water, the hot water, the gas, the propane, the diesel. And all I want to do is go in and cook and serve the guests. I'm like, just get somebody to do that for me. I want to get in there, light it up, get the staff going. That night, I booked my first party like that day when we took the truck out. So my friend texted me, I heard you're driving a food truck around town. I need you to come to my son's party on November 21st, or whatever day it was.
Wow.
I said, okay. So I booked the party. Then we opened for service. 2 days later, hour lines. People came out that I hadn't seen for 10 years to not only to support me, but just to taste the food. And they were blown away by the quality, because you cannot, what we were serving is, it's New York style, fast casual, easy, simple, fun. There's a food truck in Tenafly we need to go see. It was just something fun to do.
Yep.
And that's how it all started. And so many people have approached me and the company, and what can you do? We want to open another one. We want you to do this. We want to do that. I want to buy a building. I want you to do this. Come do the party, do a bat mitzvah. It's been great. Tiring, but great.
Wow. And so, sorry, tell me what was the launch date of when you actually launched the truck? What was the actual date?
I'm thinking it was the Friday after Thanksgiving or the Friday before Thanksgiving. I have to get the exact date for you. Got it. But this is super recent and already really taken off, it seems like. Taken off, like I know I said I need Monday off, like, and it's you're chasing, it feels like you're always chasing stuff. So then we lose a permit, right? Of course, because the town, they start to get jealous, and the other brick and mortars don't like it because they're complaining that you're in competition. And me being the girl from Brooklyn, tough, very like sticking up for myself, I said, well, during a pandemic, you need to figure out how you're going to survive, and you have to be creative. And that's what I did. If I can't operate the food truck, I'll put a grill out there and I'll do it with a grill. I don't mind. I've done tailgate parties with the Jets and La Frida. It's easy for me. Cold weather doesn't bother me. But, the town and the council people started coming up to me, and I was like, I need to find another space. What do? My friend owns a gym in Tenafly. Her name's Blanca, Juma Fit. I said, Blanca, does your partner own the property? She said, yes. I said, I need to put my food truck someplace. They allowed us to park for 2 weeks. A little bit off the beaten path. We were operating out of the gym. It was like, you really have to hustle. It's hard. You don't have a home. You chase deliveries. Like I had to chase a US Foods order the other day because we didn't have an address. The bread I go pick up every morning. The vegetables sometimes. It's just, it's crazy. But wow, it's great. It's funny. And the adrenaline is going all day, all night. And then I had learned to drive a truck. So I'll video that. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, and again, it sounds like, you're really going for it. You're really embracing these challenges. And I think in a time like this, we need more of that. I mean, it seems like I told all my clients at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, look, some people will look at this pandemic and say, wow, this is the worst thing ever. I don't know how we're ever going to make it out of this. Well, those people who had that mindset, right, they're not making it out. Mm-hmm. Then you have some people that said, this is going to suck, but we're going to get through it. And they're literally just getting through it. Then you have the other people, like I have some clients of mine, and they said, this thing sucks, but I've been through a recession before. I'm going to figure this out. Right. And I'll make this the best thing that's ever happened to us. Mm-hmm. I have some clients that they're up 40% in sales from last year. 2020 was their best year ever. And so it really, what's interesting about all this that I've seen, at least, is it's such a mindset of how you approach a situation, because you can look at it and say, this sucks. Or you can say, this has happened. What can I do? And it sounds like, I mean, you've had a really incredible career. It sounds like your whole life, and you've done so many interesting, cool things, but it's almost like it all kind of led you to this moment of like, now, and this is yours. This is completely yours. Right. Which is incredible. And I know there'll be more right now. I said to my friend this morning, I said, I might need a business manager, because how I am, I call it low hanging fruit, right? Yep. There's so much low hanging fruit right now. The coconut's going to hit me in the head. I'll be like snap out of it, Mel, like take it, go run with it, but don't lose what you're doing. Right. Cause I'm like, wow, if I do something else, I'll feel bad. The food truck, but the food truck will always be there. Right. Yeah. I have, especially now, I have restaurants calling me that use La Frida meat and like, Mel, we need help. Can you bring the truck? Can you help us? We want to create some excitement. Of course I can. So right now I'm trying to get permits to go into Brooklyn to help out a restaurant, because he's suffering right now because you can't dine. There's no indoor dining. Yeah.
It
I
is
said,
a
whatever
really
I can
incredible
do.
opportunity for a food truck.
Right?
It literally is crazy. Um,
I wish I
wow.
had like more time, more days in the week. It's weird because sometimes I feel like either there's not enough time in the day or that I need more days of the in the week to help who I
Are
want to
you
help.
are you considering a brick and mortar location already?
Yeah, and I've had
Yeah.
people approach me already. Some people, one company where I parked one day wants us to take over their catering and concessions. Another town asked me to run their summer food program at a very high end pool. So I'm
Wow.
like, I have to get my team together, and it's little projects just to be in town and help, and they want it and something different.
Well, the big opportunity I think you have right now too is I know from speaking with a lot of restaurateurs is that there's never been a better time to expand the business. I mean,
Mhm.
you can get deals right now to open up a brick and mortar location that are ridiculous. I mean, I live in LA and I live in specifically Venice Beach, and
Okay.
I know a lot of the community around me. I spoke to a guy who owns this building that was an Italian restaurant, and they shut down at the beginning of COVID. And he told me, he's like, look, I would be willing to give any next restaurateur to come in here a full year of rent for free.
Wow, they want to get rid of it.
They were they want to get someone in,
Mhm.
and I think this is super common around the country and around the globe even. And so I would say even for yourself, right, looking into brick and mortar locations again, there's never been a better time. I mean,
Right, and then you plan now for post COVID's not going to be around, and people are still eating.
oh
People
yeah,
are eating more. Supermarkets, drive-throughs, and not even really planning for takeout, but people are going to want to sit down and not waited on, because my concept is not, a concept where I'm waiting on them it's fast casual fun, and that's how I'm
yeah,
keeping it. Because then you
totally.
start to get misconstrued. It's too much money on labor, and that's when you
That's the
start.
best opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're hitting the sweet spot, I think,
I
honestly.
know. Come open a restaurant with me.
I love that. The big thing too I tell everyone is, and I always think about is there's an imbalance between the supply and demand between restaurants and the customers that they're serving, right? The
Yeah.
biggest problem I heard last year before COVID was, Brett, there's too many restaurants now. The competition is too high, right? Or, in my case, I own a marketing agency. And so I talk about marketing all the time. Well, I don't know if my marketing works, or I have a hard time getting people in the door. We're too reliant on word of
Mhm.
mouth, whatever the case. Well, I'll tell you right now, that first problem, too much competition, that's been eliminated. There's
100%.
still the same amount of people that have to eat and want to eat. And I'll tell you personally, I am tired of cooking. Right. I've been eating out quite a bit.
Right.
Um, and I think a lot of people share that same feeling. And so you have all these customers that are hungry to try something new or enjoy the restaurants around them. And you have the restaurants closing down. So for those that are staying open, the opportunity is massive.
100%. And you have to be creative. Listen, I was in a food hall with LaFrida, Penzi Food Hall, Madison Square Garden, 6 locations. It was us, taco, vegetarian, little beet, vegan, cinnamon snail. There was a lobster place and pizza. We were
Yep.
the meat person. We were the meat people. There was competition on a Friday night when, but I knew everybody was either, they were getting a steak sandwich. Everybody wants a burger. Everybody wants a steak sandwich. Like, well, Mel, you need to do salads and you need to do pot. I'm like, that's not my concept. That's not what we're about. And Pat taught me that. People tend to be like, all right, I'm going to open a restaurant and put 600 things on the menu. Then all the food cost is high. Then there's too much staff. Then you're throwing stuff out. You lose money. With the
Yep.
food truck, it's the same. People come up to me. You need healthy options. I said, we have healthy options. We have a veggie panini, it's fried zucchini, but we have, I'm adding a turkey, but there's things that we do, but it's hard to make every single person happy. Like the restaurants that don't do well, and you can't reinvent yourself so much, because that's where you kind of fail. You have
Yeah.
to stay and have patience. Let them enjoy your food. Let them keep coming back. Give them a little something when you can, right?
Yeah.
Tonight we're doing a turkey burger with provolone on a freshly baked whole wheat bun from Balthazar, guacamole spread. It's organic. It's 100% turkey. It's an amazing burger. And I'm adding
Yeah.
a hot dog, but I'm like, you know what? I want to add a pretzel bun, because if I did a regular bun, I won't stand out. You can get a
Yeah.
hot dog anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a pretzel bun.
I
honey
like that.
mustard aioli, like different things and it's a food truck, so you can't be basic,
Yeah.
but you can't be too confusing. So you have to be unique in your own way without losing what losing what you want
Totally.
to, and that's what the restaurants, like we couldn't sell pizza, or because I saw the pizza place making money. Should I start selling pizza or meat lovers pizza? You can, but they won't come to us for that. Or a
Yeah.
salad,
Well, like you just said, you can't make everyone happy. I mean, here's
yeah,
the thing, and this applies to all businesses, I think, in general, is if your audience is everyone, you have no audience in general.
right.
You got to pick your people,
You
right?
have to.
Even for me, when I was first starting my company, we served anyone and everyone as a marketing agency. I mean, we did med spas, we did e-commerce brands, women's bikini brands, sunglasses, restaurants, fitness studios, gyms, whatever the case. We were good at everything, but not great at anything, right?
Right.
The moment I started just focus on restaurants, and then more specifically helping restaurants specifically acquire, retain, and track the marketing that's actually working, that's when we started growing. That's when we passed $1 million a year first time, because we just focused on one area.
Yeah.
You got to be niche. You got to be focused. And especially, I think with your name, right? Mel's Butcher Box, sticking true to what you guys do.
100%.
Meats. You got to.
Like I can't do a rat. I did steak frites the other night, which was amazing. Skirt steak. It was great. Like, where can you get La Frita marinated skirt steak fresh off a grill? And I was cooking it on my flat top. I didn't even grill it on the charbroil. I don't have a charbroil. It was so good. And where could you get that? And I always say it's restaurant quality. When I taste something, and I'm not a chef, I've worked with a lot of chefs. I know quality.
So you
right?
kind of know what you're doing, yeah.
100%. So I'm like, okay, I could handle a 6-ounce, portion it. I know how many fries. The fries are great that we have. I even met with a fry guy. I'm like, I want the best fry ever. And he met with me. Like, I took the time and I knew him.
Yeah.
So, another thing is the connections I've made, I kept, and they will come running for me because of who I worked with, because they know I'm successful, and they know in turn they're going to make money because I'm successful. Right.
Totally.
So when I asked my French fry guy from Lamb Weston, right, I said, I need the best fries ever. And I love this guy because he tells me he goes to Idaho, he picks the potatoes, he tells me how it's made. And for me, I like that because I know it's not a regular fry that's going in the oil. I know that he gave me the best. And I know that nobody has the fry I have anywhere around town or anywhere,
You're making me hungry for fries right now.
Oh, I won't even start talking about the bachelor bread. Like,
but you're after win-wins, and I think that's what it's about, right? Is everyone's got to win. I think that's the key in business as well. Is how can everyone win? How can you win? How can your employees win? How can the customers win? How can your suppliers win? How can everyone win?
Right, because everybody's involved.
Everyone's involved.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. It's the people when they approach a deal of trying to get everything they can and get you nothing. I don't understand those people.
No, that's in the end, they're not going to do well.
They're not.
I worked hard to get to where I am, and at this point, I'm 47. I'll be 48, and I've done a lot. My resume is
no way.
Yeah.
You do not look 47, 48.
I'm 47. I'm an oldie.
Good for you. That's amazing.
I said to my friend today, I was like, all this stuff is coming together. She goes, it could have happened 6 years ago. I was like, no, I needed to have the experience and do what I did in order to be able to be how I am today, right? To be able to pick and choose, to be able to talk to somebody and with the confidence that you gain after being around all these different types of people, and the people who don't want you to do well, and the people who really want you to excel, right? Yeah. So,
Mel, one thing for you too that's really cool though is all the time you've spent with the media, on TV and PR.
That's what I love since I was 5.
How did you get into that? How did that happen?
I was a finalist on The Real World Miami back in the day, and
no way.
When I worked at Nellie Bly, I sent my tape, and I made them follow me around with a video camera, and I sent the box with all amusement park things like balloons and cotton candy. I wanted them to notice who I was, and they did.
Wow.
And I always wanted to be a newscaster, something, not to be famous, but because I love it. I love the idea of being on camera, and I was always the center of attention, and always wanted to, my family videos. I was always the one that was the center, like front and center. So I signed the contract for MTV. They came. I met the producers, Betsy Fells, and she was the first one to cast for that. And
Wow.
I was still in college, and I didn't register. I remember for my last semester because I thought I was going to Miami the next day. And for some reason, last minute, they chose this other girl. I think it was Michelle. I don't know who it was, but I think they needed a Spanish girl at the time. They chose her. I signed the contract. I was going. So that didn't pan out. I was like, all right, let me see what else I could do. Still continue to work, but at the same time, do everything on the side. Try to get in the newspapers, any press I could get for whatever. So while I was working at Nellie Bly, if any TV came to do any segments, I would make sure I was in the front of it and on camera. Then when I changed my major to communications, I was at NBC, and I was working for the Today Show as an intern. And I was just in the middle of it. And I was like, all right, to my producer, her name's Miranda, who I still keep in touch with. I said, get me on a segment. What can you do? I did some voiceovers with her. I did, they used me for a few segments for commercials, which was great. And then at Valley, with the weight loss, they put me in their national commercials. I got a SAG card. And then I started doing the really awesome weight loss segments. So I was on The View, Wayne Brady Show.
Wow.
I was on Fox a few times to do weight loss stuff. Joy Bauer. I was on the Today Show twice, which is great. I just loved it. And it was so natural. And every time the producer met me, they were like, you're amazing. We need you to get on more. What can you do for us? And I always pitched my own stories because I'm sitting home like, what can I do? How can I do this? Then I get an agent, right?
Wow.
And I started, because of my job was very flexible in the city. When I worked at Ballet, I was going back and forth on castings. And then I got a hosting coach, Patricia Stark, her name is. And I would take TV hosting classes and learn how to read the teleprompter and ear prompter and interviewing skills. It was great. Wow. I actually went on a casting against her, my instructor. It was very funny. I think she got the gig. I didn't do it.
Wait, so you're saying you would pitch your story to all these news outlets, media outlets about whether it was a weight loss or whatever you wanted to pitch, basically.
Yeah. I wrote into Food Network. Every month I write into Food Network. I would Food Network star, any TV show. I was a finalist for one of the Bobby Flay shows. It was at home with Bobby, like family competition. I have so many videos that I've made just for Food Network stuff. My sister I'm like, gee, you have to come over and film me. I go by on the mise en place. I set everything up it was so funny. It's really funny what I've done. Home Shopping Network. I applied for them. Wow. I applied for Home Shopping Network, I think like 4 times. I met with the Home Shopping Network people. I was ready to go. If they called me and told me I would have to move to PA. What else did I do? Oh, and then when I worked with Pat LaFrida, I was his sidekick on all our promotions. So we did Eyewitness News a few times, live segments for the Super Bowl.
Got it.
St. Patrick's Day, Fox 5. I just love doing it. The adrenaline and
totally.
I love doing media days. Everything with Disney I did on film. It was great.
But it sounds like also from doing this, right? What you've done though from this currently and also obviously in the past is you've built your personal brand. So now once you've launched Mel's Butcher Box, also with your name attached to it, people recognize you. And you have these old connections that now you can leverage to push the business.
Yes.
Right?
That's a huge thing. I pitched Eyewitness News yesterday. Because I know the producer. I was like, Nick, let me come on and do a Super Bowl segment. I have to start now. I know Super Bowl's here. I'm like, who can I call? Okay, I'm going to call Lori Stokes from Fox 5. I'm going to call my contacts at Eyewitness News. There's a local newscaster here, Nina Pineda. She got me on Eyewitness News last month when the box just opened. And then NJ.com. Now they all started coming in. We had so much.
That's amazing.
Press. It was crazy.
That's really, really incredible. Do you no, it's funny because this is so clutch. And this is something that I've spoken to a lot of my clients about as the owner of your business, you need to get out there more. And I think a lot of people hide behind their business. I don't know
I'm
why.
out there.
I'm the same
Out.
way. I mean, literally anyone who's ever worked with us or decided to work with us. So we run ads for our business actually through my social media pages. So we'll run it through my Instagram, through my Facebook. We'll do a lot of stuff on Google as well, but it's always through my name versus our company, Misfit Media, because I think the truth of the matter is people connect with people. People buy from people. People don't buy from companies, right? And they do. Right? You'd argue that, yes, but I think they connect with people more so, right? And I think by positioning yourself as this thought leader in the space, as this really passionate, amazing person in the space, and connecting your name now also to the name of the brand, you've done something really cool. I mean, I think what you have is you have a very franchisable concept at some point, potentially, if that's ever a goal for you.
Come on, Brett, let's do it.
Yeah.
Come to New York.
I do love New York. But it's cool. I mean, and again, there was I forget the name of this pizza brand we were working with about a year ago, but he only had one location, but this guy was doing $400,000 a month on this. Where was he? I'm blanking right now, but you know what he did? He himself would do these amazing YouTube videos of him making pizza and talking about it. Another Italian guy, and just really animated and excited. And people would go in because they wanted to see him. That's you know, and obviously it had incredible pizza, but whatever the case, people need to do this more. Yeah. This is something for me that I've always known as a young age too. Do you know the name Art Linkletter by any chance?
No.
So, Art Linkletter actually it was my great grandfather, was best friends with Walt Disney.
No way. That's why we're getting along, Brett. See?
Yeah. Opened up Disneyland back in the day, was the host and announcer to open up Disneyland. And so my whole life I've always been obsessed with kind of what you're talking about. So everything you've been saying this whole time, I'm like, yes,
great. What a small world.
It's crazy. So I've always been on this exact same page. And that's exactly why I run my business this way with my face in front of it, because I'm the same way. I think I love connecting with people. I think people love connecting with other people. And why not attach a business to that connection?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It makes it so much more fun and so different out of the box, right?
100%. But no, this is really cool. Literally everything you've been saying, I'm just like, yes.
That's great.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Wow.
Really cool.
That's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, he was a big inspiration for me growing up, and I love the space too. One thing, again, I think that's so cool, which it seems like for you, it's just been second nature, but just pitching media outlets on you and these stories.
I call them, I text them. I'm like,
that's amazing.
I said to Nina Pineda, she's Eyewitness News. I said, Nina, I want you to do a segment. I need you to introduce me. I want to be called Meet Mel, MEAT Mel. And I want to go to these different restaurants, do different segments. You need to pitch it. She goes, okay. And then she's trying to pitch stuff for me. But I just researched what I could pitch. Like I pitched Rachel Ray, like a lot of shows. That's how I found Oprah, because I was researching and they said Oprah's looking for this, and I got there on my own. I had an agent. My agent used to send me on print ads, and you couldn't see my personality with print.
Totally.
I needed to speak and not memorize the script because, I have ADD because I'm crazy, but like just be myself, like post something. So the other day, Anthony Rodriguez, he's a producer for Diners, Drives, and Dives with Guy Fieri. I've known him since junior high school. I started sending him pictures. I was like, Aunt, you need to come. You need to come to Jersey. This is a show. I said, just today alone, the events that happen, it'll be great. And my food's amazing. And I'm pretty cute and I'm funny. And once for it, I said, come shoot a pilot with me. Just come shoot it or put me in the right direction. And that's what I do. I call the people I know, who I've kept in touch with, who I have a good reputation with, and just see what you could. You never know.
Absolutely.
Never know. So
that's so cool.
Maybe I'll get on the Food Network and start a franchise and have my own cookware and do all that.
Yeah. Well, I think what's also exciting about this time right now is that people are looking for a story like yours. People are looking for a story of overcoming this massive pandemic.
Right.
Right? People want some positive
Like there's light at
news.
the end of the tunnel somewhere,
Yes. People
right?
are tired of hearing all the BS. Everything
Right.
that's now happening in our country, the Capitol building and all this stuff now. Like, come on. I'm tired of hearing the negativity. We got to hear
I
some
know.
positive stuff.
Well, this
Like,
morning on Instagram, people are already saying, oh, 9 days and 8 days into 2021, I want my money back. I'm like, get over it. Every day. It's not you can't. And I stopped. I was like, I can't look at it anymore because you either go full steam ahead. It's not the end of the world. The ninth day into the new year, you have 200 and something, however many days left. You can't be like that. You
yeah,
can't. I mean, I could if I wanted to. And like I said, I get into that place, but when I do, I figure something out, like
yeah.
to switch it over.
No,
I go put
that's
somewhere.
good. I saw this meme yesterday on Instagram and it was like, season 2 of America has just begun and we're off to a
Right?
fantastic start. It's like, come on.
Right? And they're gonna keep doing it. Now, every time something happens, you blame it on 2021. I just
Yeah.
stopped. I can't. I have too many things. I can't let it right now. Like I said, that low hanging fruit is all there. I need to figure it out and just keep going with it because I
Yeah.
can't lose the momentum. That's why I keep the truck open every day.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I gotta stay open.
I love that. I love that. Well, Mel, I think this has been really incredible. Such a unique interview, I think, today.
Yeah, we need to
Super,
plan a trip to Disney.
yeah, 100%. 100%. I've been meaning to get over to Florida at some point because California is pretty shut down as you know.
I know. I know.
But it seems like Miami is happening, so
Yeah, Miami is. You can do something. Well, Jersey, it doesn't seem like anything shut down here. But in the city,
That's true, yeah.
it's a little challenging to go into the city right now. So I miss it.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, Mel, for anyone who's listening and maybe is listening to this and this what you've said has really resonated with them, but maybe they have a hard time taking that next step to bring the excitement back to their business or get back on the right pace to moving forward with their business. Any kind of like lasting advice you might give them on turning that leaf and making it happen?
Yeah, you have to look at what you have, right? By yourself. Be in a situation where you have the time to reflect and be like, what's not working? What can work? Who has best practices that you could borrow, steal? Who can you call to help? Who are your contacts, right? Who do you know in the industry that can come over and do a pop-up, do the menus, rent your space out, go help somebody else? Go get out of the store and walk back in as a customer. What are the new trends? And if there's no trend, can you start a trend? Who would have known I would start a trend in a small town? But also, who is your audience? Maybe you need a new audience that a fresh audience. They don't want the same, mac and cheese. They don't want the same salad because there's nothing special about it. People want something fun and different now because they've been in the house for how many. They don't want to order it anymore. Like, oh, where are we ordering from again? We need something. And that's what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
And just you have to not learn, but I'm going to say hustle again. You have to find out where there is opportunity because somehow I found it and it was a little overwhelming in the beginning. And I'm trying to figure out how to make it work for not only for me, but for everybody.
100%.
For my staff, for the customers, for the partners who asked me to do this, and then all of a sudden it'll start coming into play. It'll start getting a little better, but you have to look at what you're doing. Like even Pat's a meat purveyor. He was doing food kits for Shake Shack. So he used they were our customer and Shake Shack was when you can make the burgers on Goldbelly. And that's what Pat started to do. So he became a packaging plant and a meat purveyor. So you have to figure out how to reinvent, paint your walls, put a new sign up, put something different on the menu. So it's a little bit, it's a pandemic, but you can change it. I went to have sushi the other night and I walked in and I was like, the lights were so bright. I couldn't even look in there. The tables were 6 feet apart, but it looked like there was a pandemic. It just looked like nobody cared.
Yeah.
And I spent almost $200, but I might not go back there now because of that, right? If you're open and you're lucky you're open because there are restaurants that aren't open in the city that are suffering, that are calling me to help them, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things you could do. And it's just being yourself. We're being out there more. And don't be so scared of the pandemic. They're not going to come and yell at you because just figure it out. right?
Yeah.
You can't be scared anymore. It's been a year.
100%.
I'm not
I
scared.
agree.
I have my mask. I have my sanity thing. That's what people want to. They want to feel safe.
Yeah, they got to stop being scared, and they got to start making
Right.
moves.
If you
Yeah.
want to make money, you have to think about, what can I do to be different today, tomorrow? Change it
Yeah.
up on Seamless, change it up on Grubhub, change the packaging, get a different bag,
Yeah.
get a different shirt, do something fun on social media.
Find a way to have fun again. Find a way to have.
I texted
Yeah.
Amber, who's a friend from the Food Network. I haven't spoken to her in a while. I was like, let me reach out to her. And this is in the midst of everything. Like, just because I think I'm okay, I'm like, nope, I have to see what else I could do. Where's there another room for opportunity for me? Said hi to her, Happy New Year, thank you, how's everything? I told her I have a food truck. I said, come cook with me one day. If she replies to me, I put it out there, right? So who am I to text the Food Network star and be like, come cook with me on the truck? But you never know if she's bored. Maybe she'll come out, but that's something different.
Why not? 100%.
So I'm from Brooklyn. I told you I'm a hustler.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. You got to be in this space. You got to be in this space. Well, Mel, that was really incredible. Again, thank you so much for your time today. For anyone who's listening to this and wants to learn more about you or check you out, how do they do that?
On Instagram, Mel's Butcher Box. So they can follow me and Melanie Landano 23 and DM me. They can call me, just private message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer questions. I can come cook if they want the truck over, wherever it is. If they want to open something with me, we could bring the brand to the West Coast. I'm dying to get to La Jolla, so
Venice Beach would love what you're doing.
Oh,
I would love what you're doing.
I'll do a taco burger truck together. That's my next.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, Mel, thank you so much for your time today. That was incredible.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch real soon.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.